And it's what, like a 3A is all it is?
Division 3A. She plays for their basketball team. Her name's Tony Smith, and so far all this season, whenever the national anthem plays before the game, she turns her back to the flag.
She turns her ass to it, is what she does. She turns her young, hard ass to the flag. All right, what's got you so upset there, Big Billy?
And how can that be offensive?
It is upsetting to me because she is setting a bad example, not only for the people who go to that state-funded school, for all the people who watch it, for the other kids who are reading this story.
All right, you got to pay to go to this school.
Yeah, but it's also a state-subsidized school, so she's not going there. She's not paying top dollar to go to the school.
How do you know
you and the Joe taxpayer are paying for this.
How do you know?
No, because I know. I mean, I looked into going to a state school when I went there, and it's a lot cheaper than a private school.
That was a state prison.
No, I mean...
So it's only wealthier people should be the only ones that are able to express themselves, not poor people.
No, it has nothing to do with expressing yourself.
Let's suppose you're on welfare. You shouldn't be able to protest if you're on welfare?
You can protest whatever you want.
Well, that's all we're saying here. This girl can protest.
Yeah, but the thing is, this girl is she's getting an education because of the government.
What did I just say? If you take money, then you can't protest, right? Yeah, that's your point?
But protest outside of where you're going to school. You want to protest, stand on a street corner with a sign, I'm against the war, okay?
All right, so it's not so much what she's saying, but where she's saying.
Exactly. She's taking the opportunity, the audience. This is a theater school, so God knows what her true motive is. It is a theater, a fine arts school. You know what? If she's so serious about this, turning her back on the flag...
you're an interesting man. You seem like a psychic that you know all these things, even though you've never met her, you don't know much about the school, and yet in your mind you have it all figured out.
I know the type.
And you never finished the 8th grade.
I know the type.
My God, I know the type. Is this because you're playing basketball?
You are so racist.
You really are. All right, 866-277.
I didn't even know
4969. Who even brought up black?
It's just she's setting a bad example for the youth of America who want to achieve, who want to get to a certain level, get an education, and when you get there, think you can turn around and
now all kinds of people be turning around because this one girl did.
Well, obviously, you know what? If she feels this way, I find it disgusting. It's tearing out my insides.
The stapling did that.
You're an idiot. Carlton, you're on Ron and Fez.
Thanks, Ron and Fez. Billy.
Yeah.
You disagree.
Yes, I do, vehemently.
You know what? You have the right to disagree, and I will stand for your right to disagree. That's what this is all about. That's why...
the Cliché Club's back in session.
Sure. Billy, you got a cliché to throw back at him?
Standing, and we'll keep standing, because that's why people come from all around the world here. This is the only place in the world that we are allowed to disagree with each other.
I think they can in France. Yeah, you see what he's saying is very, very important.
Yeah, no, look, she can... But
Thank
you know
you
what?
so much.
It pains me more than anything else to watch people desecrate our flag in any way, shape, or form. But I will stand for people to have the right to express that opinion if they choose to.
But don't you think it's odd?
Right.
No.
Thank you very much, Carlton.
About the time and place she's choosing to do this?
Doesn't matter, Billy. It doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, the school backs her up. Your problem is with the school, I guess, right?
My problem is with the fact that me and you are paying for her education, and she's doing this in a public forum that she wouldn't have if we didn't pay for it.
Here's Charlie. You're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Charlie.
This is Charlie.
This is Charlie.
Yeah, it's amazing how much publicity this is getting.
Yeah.
It is amazing how blacks didn't turn their backs on America when they went through slavery.
Okay, Charlie. Okay, Charlie. Thank you very much. Billy, you got to get back to the phones.
Yeah.
Here's Paul. Paul, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, buddies?
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I agree with some of the callers. The one lady said this is America, and that's what it's all about. But the one that got called and said, throw her family member off the building. I thought that was kind of funny. And then there was the one, take her off the team. What I think, being a vet myself, I think what somebody should do is take this young lady, make her volunteer a day at one of the veterans hospitals, and help take care of some of these vets who can't feed themselves and take care of themselves, who fought for this country to give her the privilege that she has to turn her back and make her realize that what she's doing is very disrespectful to these people.
Okay, why are we sending her to community service?
I'm not saying community service. I'm saying send her to one of the veterans hospitals and volunteer and let her spend the day there taking care of some of these vets.
It's not really volunteer if you're doing it. If you're being forced into it.
Everyone should do that.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much, my friend.
Can't we just make fun of her for being tall?
Yeah.
She's on the girls' basketball team. Isn't that enough?
All right, here is Megan. Megan, you're on the air.
Hey, guys, how you doing tonight?
Good. We're having fun.
Go ahead, Megan.
My issue with this is the disrespect. I was raised, actually, I went to grade school with a girl who was from Somalia, and she was Muslim, and she refused to stand whenever we said the pledge in grade school. Her parents wrote petitions to the school saying she didn't have to stand up and all this and that, and they decided that they would just have her stand. She didn't have to recite the pledge with everybody else, but everybody else had to. And when she was trying to not stand, she tried to remain seated during the pledge. Other kids tried to sit down, too, and I did, so I was like, heck, I don't want to stand up. You're in second grade. You're like, I don't feel like standing. And
I'm Muslim, too.
They made us stand in the corner with our noses against the wall because we were disrespecting other people and we were disrespecting the flag. And whether we spoke the pledge or not, they still had us stand. And it's one thing if you don't agree with it and you don't, if you don't want to salute the flag, as you said, she was quoted as saying in that article, you don't have to salute it or, put your hand over your heart or anything, but don't go out of your way to insult the rest of the country and insult the symbol of our freedom.
And Fezzi, this is coming from somebody who's reformed, who literally had to have their nose pressed against the wall.
Slacker kid in grade school,
She's been reprogrammed.
I'm also a college student, and I mean, I can say I've been discriminated against, and I've done this and I've done that, but at the age of 20, I don't think I know enough about the history of this country, and I don't have enough experience to, with 100% conviction,
Megan, I don't think you're ever going to be smart enough. Honestly, I don't think you're ever going to be smart enough.
Well, it's hard for me to understand how much conviction she must have. She must have been through a lot in order to be able to do that, and I find that hard to believe.
Well, say that's a point there. See, I don't like what she's doing. I love the American flag. I don't like what she's doing. I don't have a problem with it, though, because her protest is her own punishment. I mean, this girl, if she wants to keep this up, she's getting mocked on a nightly basis now.
It's one thing to stand up for your beliefs, but it's another to insult everybody else's. There's a lot of atheists out there, but they don't go around necessarily bashing every other religion. They just silently don't worship. They just silently be quiet. They don't go out and, spray paint mosques and things like that. It's just if you have believe it, but don't mess with everybody else.
We should always keep our beliefs to ourselves.
Well, not necessarily keep it to yourselves, but don't go out of your way to offend other people. Mm-hmm. That's not what it's about.
Right. So, as quietly as we can keep our beliefs, that's the best thing. If we disagree with what's going on, that's between you and yourself. All right. Thank you very much, Megan.
No problem.
All right.
On the keep it to yourself part of it, this girl, when the national anthem starts playing, she isn't announcing on a bullhorn, I will now be turning my back on the American flag.
You're right. And the people that are, going crazy, yelling stuff, are bringing more attention to her.
Right, yeah, exactly. Here's the thing. Look at the picture of her, Ronnie. Here she is with her teammates during the national anthem.
Let me see her.
So look at her there. Here's the thing. Look at that picture. If I didn't know what was going on in that picture, it looks like she has her head bowed in prayer. It looks like she's being very respectful. She's not facing the same direction as the other girls, but nobody's facing exactly the same direction. I'd never know what she was doing.
Yeah, there are a lot of people not looking directly at the flag.
Right, and she's standing there, her hands are at her side. She's looking down at the ground, like the other people are.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't even know what she was doing unless it was brought to your attention.
But, what are we going to now start doing? Watching each other? Wait a minute, that guy scratched himself during the national anthem?
Right.
This guy had his hat on. He forgot that he had a hat.
That happens to people. People forget they're wearing a hat.
Communist.
and forgetful Americans.
Sure. But, I mean, we certainly don't want to have the flag police. And then, what are you going to do? Start making sure people are flying their flags? This whole thing about unity, Fezzi, is shocking to me. It is shocking to me that some of the young people, and I'm going to point it out, one of them is our producer, has no idea what the country's about. And it's not about being forced to agree with other people. That's just baffling to me.
866-277-4969.
And if I told you his dad was a judge, would you be shocked?
Oh, no, not whatsoever.
Here's
a hanging judge?
Here's Rock. Rock, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Rock.
Hey, how you guys doing? You sound good in D.C., man. You come through real clear.
It's great to be here.
Thanks, man.
Just bear with me for 1 second. First of all, I was born in the city. I was raised in the city up towards D.C., and I just moved to Stafford. So, and just to build the whole thing together, it's a lot of Confederate flags and shotguns and windows.
Right.
And, a lot of things that mean, certain that have certain undertones and overtones to me as a black man. But at the same token, they're my neighbors too. So I respect the fact of what the Confederate flag, they say it's history to them. I respect the fact that they can, not so much, peacefully and quietly, that's just what they believe in. And obviously the flag to this young lady, means something different than the guy Billy and the other guy and all these other people that are saying she's so wrong and her family members should be thrown off the roof. And what I want to say to that is, to the guy that said he's a vet, you said it's okay to protest. This is what everybody's contradicting themselves, just like the lady just called. It's okay to protest. That's your right in this country. But go take care of somebody in a home that's going to let you know that your protest was wrong. I mean, you're saying it's okay to protest, but your protest is wrong. That's ridiculous. We take the bitter with the sweet. That's what America's about. You got to take the bitter with the sweet. She can protest. She's, like you said, she's not on the bullhorn. She just peacefully, we have a right to peacefully protest. She's peacefully turning her back, not on the country. She didn't say she hated America.
Yeah.
She said she doesn't want to salute the flag. I've done it a million times when I was like a young rebel in school.
Sure.
And, I salute the flag too, but it means something different to her, but that doesn't mean she's disrespecting our troops, our vets, or anything like that. She didn't say anything. And to close, sorry to be so long-winded, to close, she, if anything, is very, very smart because she's a AAA school, some whatever, liberal arts, and she's into politics now, and she's got the whole country's attention. We're talking about her. I mean, everybody's talking about her. I got Tony Bruno from the West Coast, Tony Kornheiser, everybody's talking about her. So if anything, she should be applauded.
All the Tonys.
Yeah.
She should be, admired because she's got the whole country talking about, and she didn't even say anything.
Yeah,
I know.
Very true. Thank you very much. She's like Gandhi, this girl. All right, thank you very much, Rock.
Thank you.
You did a good job.
Nice work, my friend.
The other thing that people won't let get into their head is that often in the history of the United States, the protesters have been right. That when you look back, that we had to have people protest civil rights because the country was behind. At one time, women could not vote. At one time, black people could not vote. At one time, 8-year-old kids had to work. All these things were protested. There's your American tradition. And Rory, come on over here. Sometimes the government has to be woken up to different things. Maybe not in this case. I don't even know what the young lady is protesting about. But it freaks me out when people act like if you don't agree with the president or the Senate or the Congress at that moment, that you are somehow un-American. It shocks me.
Well, I think everyone is entitled to their opinion. If she doesn't agree with Bush's policies, if she doesn't agree with the war, that's fine. She could speak out about that. She could talk about that. But to turn your back on the symbol of our nation really gets to me. It means that she doesn't want to be American, that she doesn't feel...
It does that. How do you make that leap? Because how do you make the leap between she's doing a shunning-type Amish protest? Let's face it. This is not anything new. This is a very traditional thing of, I will turn my back because I'm so upset. And now you're making the leap of she doesn't respect the country or she wants something else we haven't even heard.
It would be like if someone came up to you who you've known for a long time, comes up to you and starts talking to you, and you turn your back on him. You turn your back on him while he's trying to have a conversation with you.
You've never done that?
But that's just
I do it.
complete disrespect right there.
Yes, what she's doing is disrespectful. So what? That's a protest.
But I don't agree with it. You can't disrespect your country.
To agree with it, Rory. You don't, and yes, you can disrespect your country if you're an American. If you're actually an American.
I just don't think it's right that Americans should be allowed to do that.
You know where you would be happier?
Where?
Iraq. Because over there you can't say anything about the flag or the leader. You would be very happy as one of those Iraqi foot soldiers.
And I'd be willing to bet that every morning everybody gets up and salutes that flag.
And you want to talk about unity? That guy pulled 100 share the last time he ran.
Right.
Don't be dumb, young man. Don't be stupid.
I'm not being...
Say from this point on, you're going to start thinking. You're not going to react.
I definitely am thinking. It's.
But I mean with your brain, the whole thing.
The whole brain.
I just think
Still don't get the big brain theory.
Can you just point out something? You're agreeing with Billy. And we know how Billy is. He's stupid. He's a silly man.
Use that as your litmus test or whatever it's called.
You're still young. You don't want to end up like that.
No, I definitely don't want to end up.
You want to end up in a wet bedroom in your mom's house?
Working all weekend with a wet vac?
No,
trying to save your Zeppelin albums?
And you throw away the one piece of the wet vac.
And you had to go to the Walmart to get a new hardware piece for the wet vac?
Is that being an American, buying fake Roger Waters posters? No.
The fact that your bedroom's flooded at your mom's house and you keep forgetting and walking in your socks, your soaking feet.
Here's what happened. Drunky whizzed himself again. Drunky pissed the bed. Okay? It's been said. All right, we got to take a break.
866-277-4969.
I know a lot of people still want to talk about this, but we got to move on. We come back and we're going to talk about the Grammys from last night. And, I want to talk about unity. How am I on the other side of this Norah Jones thing?
Someone explain it to us, please.
Someone explain to me why Norah Jones is good. How many albums has she sold? It's been a ton, right?
Yeah.
It's Platinum Plus?
Yes.
See if Earl's around tonight. Get a hold of Earl for me.
Okay.
I want to figure out the Norah Jones thing. And if you're a fan, 866-277-4969.
DC local lines, 202-432-1067. Last night was the first time I saw her.
The Fez Show.